Do you guys like that movie?
I feel like there was somebody else with us just a minute ago.
There was a really good-looking guy we were just hanging out with.
Do you guys mind if we bring Cary back out on stage and have a little conversation? Cary, I think that you're into that.
Wow, that was an experience, right? I've never seen so many plastic swords in my life.
So we're gonna...
Thank you, I love you too.
All right, there's a lot of love. We're going to have a little bit of a conversation here, and then JJ is monitoring Twitter. He's got some stuff picked out from Alamos everywhere.
That's
from
right.
People here. We'll go to those questions after, and then if there's time, we'll take a couple of questions from in this room too. But Twitter is the best way to make sure that we see them. So I want to start with, we have so many people here watching, knowing every line of this movie, and you said in the beginning that you had no idea while you were making it that it was going to be a classic. That makes no sense to me. How did you not know that this was going to be the beloved classic that it is today?
Well, I mean, we had a great time making it, which is why I wrote this book. We thought we had something very sweet that we all enjoyed being a part of. But like Bill Goldman says, nobody knows anything. You never know whether your film is going to be a hit or not. We hoped it would be. We opened the same weekend, I think, as Fatal Attraction. And it's just a little movie that came out that weekend. It made a couple of bucks.
We're doing that quote along here next week.
Yeah. Yes, bring your rabbits.
So when did you realize what this film really had become culturally?
Well, for me, it was an interesting experience. It was almost a decade after the movie came out. I remember I was in Manhattan, and I was ordering a hamburger in a restaurant, and the waitress said to me, "How do you want that cooked?" And I said, "Medium rare," and she went, "As you wish." And I said, "Excuse me?" And she goes, "You know." And she winked at me and walked off, and I was blown away. I'd never heard anyone say those words to me. So it was a new experience. It was a wonderful moment for me. It was really extraordinary.
It's very strange to hear you say, "No one had ever said those words, as you wish to me," where I imagine you hear it a little bit now.
A couple of times.
Yeah. So then you use it as the title of the book.
Yes,
so
the publishers came up with the title. I got a phone call from the publishers going, "We've come up with the title of the book. It's pretty simple, really. It's not really up for negotiation. We think we got it." So, yeah.
So, talk to me about kind of the process of writing the book.
Yeah.
How did you remember you get into some very detailed stories in this. I don't remember that much from my life last week. Were you keeping a journal? Were you filming everything obsessively? How did you access all of this?
I did film a little bit of the movie, and that's available, I believe, on one of the editions of the DVDs. There you go.
For everybody watching at an Alamo and didn't hear
Someone
that
just
call
yelled
out,
it out.
Cary's video is available on the
But I
Dread
didn't
Pirate
keep-
Roberts edition of the DVD and Blu-ray.
I didn't keep a journal or a diary, and so after I got this marvelous offer from Simon Schuster to write the book, I was kind of nervous. I turned to my wife, I went, gosh, I don't know if I have enough memory of what happened to be able to fill the pages of what is demanded of me, right? And so I called Norman Lear, who was the producer of the film and who actually financed the movie out of his own pocket, if you can believe that. Yes. Give an applause to Norman Lear. Yes. We wouldn't be here without this man. So, Norman took me to lunch, and he was so sweet. He goes, Cary, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you all the call sheets from the movie. And the call sheets...
Yeah. The what?
The call sheets, for those of you who don't know, call sheets are what the cast and crew get the night before you go to work, and it's your work order. It tells you what time you have to be on the set, what scenes you're shooting, how many pages you have of dialogue, and so on, right? And he said, I'm going to give them all to you, and when you look at them again, you're going to remember where you were and what you were doing. I said, oh, thank you, Norman, that's wonderful. And I didn't think anything of it. And then a few days later, this beautiful bound set of call sheets arrived at my house, and I opened them up, and the first day was the fire swamp, and I was right back there. It was incredible. I started to remember these things I'd forgotten over 27 years ago. It was incredible.
That's amazing. I'm glad that he kept the call sheets.
Yes.
That brought us here tonight. That
So
brought
am
this
I.
book into being. I still don't think that my work schedule from 20 years ago would help me remember it, so you are incredibly talented.
On top of it.
So let's go back to first days on set, and we'll get to the fire swamp, but I want to start with the first day that you worked on set with Andre.
Andre, let's hear it for Andre.
What was the first scene that you did with Andre?
Andre was truly a gentle giant. I mean, he really was the sweetest guy. And I still miss him to this day. He was so sweet. He'd give you the shirt off his back. It'd be enough for 5 people. But he'd still give it to you. That's the kind of guy he was. The first day we had together was the scene on the parapet of Florin Castle, where I'm mostly dead and I come to, and I say that line, I'll fight you both together, I'll beat you both apart, right? Did I get that right? Tell me I got that right.
They'll let you know.
Be corrected at a quote along. And I think Andre's line is, I guess not very long, right? And we rolled, and I said my line, and Andre didn't even get to the word long when he emitted one of the most ginormous farts I have ever, any of us have ever. Now look, you've all experienced giant farts in your life. This was a giant's fart, okay? All right? I'm talking the sonic resonance of which made us all believe there was an earthquake. Everyone grabbed a set instantly. All looked at Andre, right? Everybody did, to see, you know, what was going on. And he had this wonderful, blissful, he always had this smile on his face, but this was a smile of blessed relief. This was a 15 to 20 second fart, people. I had time to look over at the sound man, who was lifting his headphones like this. And I noticed, besides the beautiful grin that he had on his face of relief and this fart that was still continuing, there was smoke coming out of Andre's hair. There's the steam. Of course. He was so hot.
I was trying to picture like
I don't know
smoke
whether
out
it
of
was
his ear.
related to the fart or I just don't know. It was extraordinary. The imagery was just phenomenal. And he didn't seem to care. He was just glad to be, you know, free of the gas. And what's so funny in England when people fart, you know, everyone's so polite and they're like looking away, you know, all quiet, sort of looking up and you know, looking away and things like that. Not like here in America when someone farts like, dude, whoa, man, was that you? That's what we do, right? And so there was this, you could hear a pin drop when the fart finally ended. This fart that could be heard in China finally finished. And there was a brief pause, and then Rob was the first one to speak. Rob said, "Hey, Andre, "You okay?" I swear to God, without missing a beat, Andre goes, "I am now, boss." Can't make that up. Yeah.
It's really good that you're doing your Andre the Giant impression because
you.
I'm getting so many tweets from people saying, hey, they really want to hear that. And it's...
I don't know it's that good, but I love him dearly and I miss him to this day. And he truly was an he was an extraordinary guy. Extraordinary guy.
We could definitely just talk about Andre for the rest of the night.
For the rest
now.
of the night.
That would be fun. But let's go back. There's some sort of like light your fart on fire joke that's in my head now. Let's go to the fire swamp.
Right.
Where it's really good that Andre wasn't there.
Missed opportunity.
And talk about when William Goldman visited the set.
Yes.
Because he came that day, correct?
Yes. So it's rare, actually, that when you work on a movie, the screenwriter hangs out. Most of them don't really hang out on the set, and Bill particularly didn't care for hanging out on movie sets. He said your work is done as a writer once you've done the script changes or read through and what have you. But we wanted him to be there because we all loved him, number one, and two, he's a legend. We just wanted to have him around. It was so cool to have him be there, yeah? But he was very nervous, and he said, I'll never forget it, the read-through, we had a table read-through, and everybody went around the table, introduced themselves, and when it came to Rob, he got very quiet, and he goes,
if I appear to be nervous, it's because this is my favorite project, and so if I appear to be a little scared at times, that's why.
And so we all just took that to heart because he's so sweet. Here's this guy who's, as I've said, wrote Marathon Man and Butch Cassidy and all these great works, and he's actually, nervous, yeah? And so he was there from day one. Not all the way through the shoot, but I'll get to that in a minute. And I'll never forget, the scene we were shooting was in the fire swamp where Buttercup's dress catches fire, right? And there was a safety meeting, as you do whenever there's a stunt on the set. The stunt guys and the special effects team walk you around the set, and Nick Alder, our special effects guy, goes, okay, so there were 3 holes in the ground, and I'll put parking cones next to each one so you can't step on them, and you know where they are. And when they're gonna be a small burst of air coming out of them, and followed by the flame. That way you know the flame's coming, because you'll want to know when it's coming. And Robin, we made a dress for you that's flame retardant, right? And Cary, all you got to do is grab the dress and put it out. And Rob turned to Rob and went, hey, if you guys don't want to do this, it's okay. We can get stunt doubles, and it's fine. Don't worry about it. And Robin was a trooper. She's like, nah, piece of cake, just like that. So after she said that, I went, yeah, sure, why not, But Bill had missed this whole thing. He arrived after we started shooting the first take, after the stunt people had showed us how it was done. And Bill arrived in the middle of the take, and he didn't know what we were shooting. And when Robin's dress caught fire, he yelled out, Robin Wright is on fire! She's on fire! So Rob goes, cut, cut, cut. He turns to Bill, he goes, Bill, her dress is supposed to catch fire. You wrote it in the last 9 drafts of the script. It's in the book. And poor Bill, he was so mortified, he ruined a take. He was like,
Oh my God, I'm going home right now. I booked my ticket, that's it.
And so we persuaded him to stay. I think his last day on the set, I filmed him. I made sure to film him because I thought, he's not going to hang around much longer. So I went and rented a camera, and I filmed him on the set at the Buttercup's entrance when Humperdinck announces her. And anyway, that's the story of Bill Gorman. Thank you.
Good story.
Good story. Good story.
Thanks for letting us know. Well, I want to jump in real quick. And Cary, backstage, we were talking about you were talking about how much your daughter loves Frozen and how much you loved it at first.
I know every song.
Is there a
All right, if you're a
Twitter
parent
question
here
about
and you-
Frozen
No.
on here?
It's not about Frozen.
I'm not going to
but,
sing. I'm not going to sing it. There's no way.
Care Bear.
No.
Care Bear 34 or Cary is from the Alamo, Denver. She's watching tonight. Thanks for watching, Cary. And she wanted to know if you'd watched this film, The Princess Bride, with your daughter, and if so, what does she think of it?
Okay. I'm looking forward to watching it with her. She's 7, but she's already has to close her eyes when the ice monster in Frozen appears. So I'm thinking she's not quite ready for the ROUSs yet, you know. But I am looking forward. I think she's probably next year, I think. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Yeah. She kind of knows what's going on. She knows I'm here. And anyways,
That's good.
she knows I'm awake. But
She's aware of things.
she's aware. She knows what's going on. She's seen pictures of Daddy dressed as the Man in Black and stuff like that. Anyway, she's the greatest achievement in my life, the greatest thing I'll ever do.
Oh, nice.
And, yes. Yes. She wanted every Frozen outfit. I know everything there is to know about Anna and Elsa. You have no idea. Olaf, everything. Everything.
Everything on Twitter is now going to be questions about Frozen for you.
There you go.
So let's go back to the fire swamp for a second,
Please.
where it's not frozen. But no, so William Goldman kind of has an outburst that ruins a take. I assume that's not the take in the film because his audio actually
No,
ruined the
and
whole
that's
thing.
how brave Robin was, by the way. We did a few more takes, and she never once freaked out or anything, which, by the way, if someone was setting fire to me, if you look in the book, by the way, there's a picture of the first time Nick Alder turned on the flame, and it's like, I don't know, it's about 12 feet high, this flame. It's huge. And when we went through the safety meetings, like, oh, it's going to be just a little tiny flame, don't worry about it. And, he was so excited on the first take, he's like, push it! And this flame comes out, and you can see why Goldman freaked out. I mean, it's like, it's massive. Yeah.
But you talk about in the book how you also ruined a take or two. I think that since we called
Yes.
William out, we should talk about you trying to be mostly dead with Billy Crystal standing over you, which does sound very, very difficult to do.
Yes. Okay, first of all, how great is Billy Crystal as well? It's cray-cray how funny he is in this film. And he only had 3 days on the film, him and Carol Kane. They arrived like in the beginning of October. They only had 3 days, but they had about 8 or 9 hours of makeup. And Billy invited his makeup artist, who worked with him on SNL, and the two of them created this incredible look for the character. And Billy, I remember, said he wanted to make Max a cross between his grandmother and Casey Stengel, the Yankees manager. Yeah? And once he got into makeup, he just stayed in character. And he came on the set, and he was just Miracle Max all day. It was hilarious. He would go to the commissary, and, he'd order food in the commissary as Miracle Max, He would say things like, "What's in the shepherd's pie?" I can't do his voice, And the lady at the commissary goes, "It's got some spices in it." He goes, "Is it very spicy?" She goes, "Not too bad." He goes, "You don't know my colon." Things like that, And so I thought I had an easy first day here. Here I am, lying on the slab, mostly dead, right? Just lying there. I only have one line when he puts the bellows in my mouth and I say, "True love."
Yeah, to blave.
To blave. And so I'm lying there, and I'm thinking, what an easy day for me, And Rob comes up to me, he says, "The camera operator says he can see your chest moving in the shot, so you're going to have to hold your breath during the take, And, well, it's not a long take, so you're not going to kill you." I said, "Okay, fine." And then he walked over to Billy, and he whispered in his ear, and I didn't know what he whispered until later, but what he whispered to him was, "Just go for it." And And Billy doesn't need much prompting, you know. And so he launched into medieval Yiddish stand-up. Some of it very blue. One take, he said, "Don't rush me, sonny. Last night I found my nephew with the sheep. A former Viking, no less." Yeah. Can't print that. Can't print that. And Rob was the first one to be banished from the set because his laugh is very robust. I like to say he can be heard in Detroit. So the sound man said, "Gavna," they all called him Gavna. "Gavna, I'm sorry, we can hear you, God." And so they put him in a hallway and they set up a monitor for him to watch the scene outside the soundstage. And the next person to go was me, of course, because I'm lying there trying to be absolutely still, you know, not even breathing. And I got, you know, Billy going, right there in front of me. It was just ridiculous, ridiculous. So the camera guy goes, "That's not going to work. You've got to go." And so they replaced me with my rubber dummy, who I'm sure was better in the scene anyway. The one that Fezzik carries around, yeah? And then, so I joined Rob in the hallway. And then Mandy, who, yeah, tried to keep his laugh in, actually bruised a rib trying to hold his... I didn't know you could actually do that, but Mandy said it was the only injury he got on the film was bruising a rib from holding in a laugh from working with Billy. Anyway, that's how hilarious Billy Crystal was. He was wonderful.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Did you have something? Because I have another laugh story to talk
I've got,
about. But what do you have, JJ?
I've got Christina, who's watching over in New York City at the Alamo, New York City. Represent.
Hi, New York City.
And Christina, or Christiana, it's very fancy. Cary, did you get to keep any props from the movie? And if not, are there any that you would like to keep?
Well, actually, there was only, I don't know, I think there were 2 swords. I don't know what happened to the other one, but I gave mine that I used in the film to Rob at the end of the movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I thought that was the right thing to do, yeah. So he's got it mounted on his wall at home. And I wish I'd gotten the standby prop sword. Probably. But, you know, I don't really collect memorabilia from my films. I sort of feel like I was there and I did it, you know. And I wanted him to have it anyway. I mean, he gave me this part and changed my life, so I wanted to give him a parting gift. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you want it, you can have my Man in Black costume.
I
wore during the intro.
I was hoping you would say that.
You can hang
Henry.
it on your wall.
It smells awful.
Yeah.
You don't have to dry clean it. Yeah.
Let's talk about Wallace Shawn. And I was thinking about the laugh because you guys ruin a lot of takes with laughing when Billy Crystal's there. But he created, I think, like the most iconic movie laugh of all time at the end of the Battle of Wits. And he's so incredible. You can't imagine anybody else doing anything as great as he does it in this movie. But you write about how he was constantly scared that he was going to be fired.
Yeah.
While on.
I know. Crazy, isn't it? So here's Wally Shawn. This guy is always the smartest guy in the room. And I knew who he was from seeing My Dinner with Andre, which is a great movie that he wrote with his friend Andre Gregory. Yeah, one person. God bless you.
Literally one. Oh, yeah. Pretty good film.
He's a Fulbright scholar and a really intelligent guy. And you know, he actually lectures in English literature and American literature, even in England while we were there. On his time off from shooting, he would go and give lectures at Oxford and Cambridge and things like that. And he's such a sweet guy, so funny. And my only day with him was the Battle of Wits scene. And he had all the dialogue, you know, and that was his first day. He had all this dialogue, you know, it's this long pages of dialogue. And I had very easy, I'm sort of just sitting there going, we were at an impasse, you know, a very easy day for me. And he had all this reams of dialogue to learn. And he was sweating. And I thought, it's not that hot today. Why is he sweating? And it turns out, I didn't find out until I wrote this book that he thought he was going to be fired because his agent had told him that the producers wanted Danny DeVito as Vincent. I know. And he said, worse than that. He said the second choice was Richard Dreyfuss. And so he said he couldn't imagine anyone else other than Danny DeVito playing this role. And so he said every time I said a line, I had the ghost of Danny DeVito haunting me the entire time during the shoot. And he even went up to Rob, I think, at one point and said, you know, why'd you cast me in this role? I'm not even Sicilian. And Rob said, but you're great, you're perfect. I like the way you're doing it, you know. But he was convinced he was going home. I found out from Chris Guest that he went to dinner one night with Chris Guest and he goes, that's it, they're sending me home, they're booking my ticket, I'm going home, that's it. And Chris was like, what are you talking about? And you look back at this role and it is inconceivable to think of anyone else, right, playing this role, right? He's wonderful. But who knew? Yeah.
There's a great part in the book too where when you talked about in the beginning how it's not just your memoir, everybody is in there. There's just like pull quotes throughout the book, and there's a pull quote from him that seems to be very recent, just like in an interview for the book, where part of him I think still thinks that maybe he's about to get fired, taken out of it.
They're gonna go back and edit the movie.
Right. Yeah. And I love where he says something like, it's still just advice for agents, any agents out there. Don't tell your client when they're going to shoot that they were the third choice for the role. Which is very true. Yeah. But also, you at one point thought maybe you were going to get fired. And I think you were pretty good in this. I can't. Oh. Yeah, that was the setup. Thank you for the spike.
Yes.
So talk to us about what you did where you were like, that's it for me.
Yeah. Okay. There was a pretty nerve-wracking day for me on the set where I did actually think I was going to go home too. What happened was, bless your heart, thank you for that.
It worked out okay in the end.
Okay, so when all these beautiful exterior shots that you see outside of Haddon Hall were shot in Derbyshire, in a place called the Peak District. And it's well named because it's very hilly and very mountainous. And we only had sort of one crew van that could drive up this little windy road to the set because Rob wanted to shoot on the top of every hill so he could get the vistas, beautiful vistas, right? And of course, Andre can't fit in a car, forget a van, you know? And so the production manager came up to him and said, Andre, how do you get around at home on your farm, you know, in North Carolina? And Andre goes, I have an ATV, boss. Called everybody boss, by the way, which is so sweet from a guy who's 7'5", you know? I have an ATV, boss. So they found, I think, the only all-terrain vehicle that was in England in 1986. And this thing showed up, beautiful red, you can go online and find pictures of it, beautiful red, three-wheeled ATV. And you've never seen a giant move so fast. Just zipping around on this thing. Vroom, vroom, everywhere. And you would stop what you were doing, like, oh my gosh, what's that? It's Andre on his ATV. Just flying by, loved it. Forget going to the set, he just wanted to roll around the hills and the mountains. And he kept riding up to me, he goes, and he goes, you like my toy, boss? I go, it's very nice, Andre. Yeah, it's nice, it's nice. Day 2. You love this toy, don't you, boss? Day 3. You want to try it? No, Andre, I don't know. Day 4. You know you want to. So at this point, I thought, okay, I've been goated enough. I'm dressed in full costume and Man in Black, and I'm about to shoot the scene where I roll down the hill and say those 3 words, you know. And thank you. And I say, okay, fine. He gets off this thing, and you know, it's like a tricycle under him, you know. And his bodyguard, like he needed a bodyguard. This guy had the easiest job on the set, you know, guarding Andre. Comes up to me and goes, oh, it's very easy, Governor. It's just like a motorbike. Here's the clutch, here's the brakes, on and off switch. I'm thinking that's the greatest ATV lesson I've ever had. So this was a point where my hubris exceeded my aptitude, obviously. And I got on this thing, and I must have looked like a comical sight. I mean, I had no idea what I was. I lurched forward, right, and trying to get into gear. And I didn't go more than 2 feet, and I went over a rock, and my left foot got caught between the clutch pedal and the rock, and I felt my big toe snap instantly. And I went, oh, no, 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 no.
Oh.
We're about a week into shooting, no. I thought, oh, gosh. And the thing sputtered and stalled instantly, and crew members were running over to see if I was okay. And the set nurse came up, I'll never forget, she was so sweet. And I'm like in agony, because it's painful, a broken toe. If you,
I imagine it would be.
It's pretty painful. But I'm just pretending I'm like the Black Knight in Monty Python. I'm like, oh, it's nothing, it's just a scratch. It's just a scratch. It's no big deal, I'll be fine.
You just blended the 2 most quotable movies of all
Yeah.
time in one event.
None shall pass. So yeah, we love Monty Python, by the way. All Monty Pythons on this movie. Anyway, so she comes up to me and she touches my boot very carefully. She goes, "Does that hurt?" I go, "No, it's all right, not really." And she goes, "I think we need to take the boot off and have a look." So they take the boot off, and it's just agony, right? And I'm just eating the pain. And there's my toe, and it's all throbbing and in the wrong direction and everything. And she goes, "I think it's broken." I say, no, it's not. It's probably just sprained. She goes, "No, it's broken." So I said to her, "What can you do for me? Is there anything?" And she goes, "I've got my bag with me. All I've got in here is aspirin for headaches and something for tummy aches." You know, she said, I'm not qualified for, broken toes and things. I said, what can you do? Because I'm terrified at this point. I just want to, I can see the AD with the walkie-talkie, like, getting nervous, right? I go, what can you do? And she goes, "Well, you should go to the hospital." I go, no. I go, "We can't do that." She goes, "Well, I suppose I could make a makeshift splint." I go, great, do that, please do that. So I think she grabbed a couple of twigs or something, I don't know, wrapped my big swollen toe up, yeah? Now the boot won't fit. And I'm going, oh, great. So the wardrobe lady cut a hole in the back of my boot. We slid it on, the whole thing. Now I've got this giant foot, right? And I'm thinking, okay, I'll just make it work, right? And I'm telling everyone, don't tell Rob, I'll talk to him, but it's all good, don't worry. Like, I'm such a twit at this point because everyone's got a walkie-talkie on a set. It's like, I get in the van to go up to the set with the first AD and the set nurse, and I could overhear her saying to the first AD, she goes, "I think he fell on his head as well." I'm sweating now, I'm just totally sweating, right? And I get to the set, and I hop out of the van, literally, and I put all my weight on the foot, and I think I'm just going to walk up to Rob like it's no big deal, and everything will be fine. I mean, this is how crazy you think, I was thinking at the time. I walk up to him, and he's scratching his beard, and he goes, "Hey, Cary, how you doing?" And I'm thinking, he doesn't know. There's no way he could know. So I'm like lying through my teeth and I go, "I'm fine, Rob, how are you?" And he goes, "I'm good, but how you doing?" So I knew that he knew, and I just went, "Oh, Rob, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I was fooling around on Andre's ATV," and he goes, "I know. I got a call on the walkie-talkie. Some guy said, 'You're gonna see that Cary can't walk too good.'" And I said, "I'm so sorry. I tried to hide it from you. I was afraid you were going to send me home, and I could see the headlines now. Clot British actor shuts down Princess Bride. Wesley replaced." And he goes, "Don't be silly, Cary. I would never send you home. You're perfect for this part. We'll work around it if we have to, And that's how... That's the kind of mensch and wonderful guy Rob Reiner is. You know, some directors would have said, you know, that's it, and I would have been sent home. But he was such a sweetheart about it. And yeah, so I learned 2 valuable lessons that day. 1, always tell the truth, it's easier. And 2, never fool around on an ATV when you don't know what you're doing. That thing's not a toy. It's not a toy. Thank you.
That was number 3. You're perfect from the audience.
Thank you.
And can we talk about what scene you were doing and that how you worked around your toe in that one moment too?
Oh,
there's 2. Like there's the part where you're just kind of
right. So when we shot the scene, I sit down against this log when I'm talking to Buttercup, right? And grilling her about marrying Humperdinck. And Rob goes, yeah, you sit down over there by that log over there. It'll be nice in a shot. And I thought, oh, God, I can barely move this leg. How am I going to do this? So if you look at the movie again now, you'll be able to see that I was very careful in the way that I lay my foot down. And Rob says, I was watching the take, and it was so elegant the way you sat down. I had no idea. So I was hiding it the best I could, but you'll be able to. So we shot the movie out of sequence. I can tell you the other scenes where you can see me hopping. As we're running towards the fire swamp, Buttercup and I turn and I say, your pig fiancé is too late. We'll be safe, right in the fire swamp. You can see I'm literally hopping towards the fire swamp. There's one leg off the ground, you know. So yeah,
I love that sitting down part though so much because it looks so cool. I remember like spending hours in my backyard being like, all right, I'm gonna do that cool sit down and then say life is pain.
I'm gonna perfect
and that you're
this.
actually just in pain right before
hilarious.
you say that is so great
funny.
and fun.
That's funny.
So, Cary, you've worn a lot of different outfits, and as characters you played over a film, at some point you wore tights.
Yes.
But we got Sarah Smith. She's out at the Alamo in Houston, and she wants to know, what are some other favorite roles you have played?
Psych, Pierre Despereaux, yes. Yes. Steve Franks created this role for me on this wonderful show called Psych. Yes. Thank you. Called Pierre Despereaux, who is an art thief and the perfect foil to James Roday's character. And I got to tell you, I had so much fun on that set. Those guys are hilarious to work with. It was just a joy every day. So fun. Yeah, a fun show, right? A joy. And huh?
They quiet
for everybody
down.
in the live stream,
What was that?
they're yelling out is, yeah.
No, it was just a joy to go to work on that. It was so much fun. We just laughed all day. There are a lot of outtakes on that, and I think they're available online, a lot of them, so you can see. I mean, the first time, I never forget hearing Dulé do that little girly scream that he does for the first. I lost it. I was like, what is that? It's hilarious. Hilarious as Gus. Hilarious, yeah.
What else do we have from our Twitter askers,
Let's
JJ?
see here. We have, we got from David Cooper out in Alamo, KC. I'm guessing that's Kansas City.
That is Kansas City. Okay.
All right. Did you gag or laugh when Billy put the air in your lungs with the fire blower?
No, but when he's touching me looking for loose change, he was tickling me.
What a jerk.
For real. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be still and not breathe or anything. And this guy's between the what? I mean, between that and the tickling, and I'm very ticklish, by the way. And that was it. I was done. Yeah.
Nice.
What else do you have? Let's do
All right,
a few of these
I'll get a
first.
few more really quickly. Mark over in Alamo, this is again in New York City, wants to know why they chose the name Princess Bride as the title, being as that Buttercup was neither.
Good question for Cary, who was involved in
Yeah.
the title choosing for this.
It was his call.
Well, it's a pretty good title, don't you think? It has to do with Bill Goldman. I mean, I told you the story of how sweet it was. He named it after his kids came up with the title, you know. And so, you know, that's why I say it. The movie started with a lot of heart. Our hearts were in the right place, even with Bill, with his daughters, and it's so sweet. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. All right, we've got two. This one's really easy. This is going to make it really easy for you. So, Jaguar Shadow, look out. She's
That's
awesome.
his real name.
At the San Antonio Drafthouse. Her name is Kayla.
it's her.
She just turned 27. Cary, can you wish her happy birthday?
Happy birthday.
I told you it was easy.
Happy birthday. What's her name, Kayla?
Kayla, there you go. Jaguar Shadow.
Happy birthday, Jaguar Shadow.
He called her Twitter handle.
JJ works for a very popular web show.
Yeah.
So the Twitter bit is
Rooster Teeths.
is a real delight for him.
All right, so, and then this is from Alamo Kazoo. Is that
Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo? Nice. Cary, if you hadn't got into acting, what do you think you'd be doing now? Let's get deep.
Gosh. I'd be playing with my kid at home.
Yeah, right now.
That's what I would be doing. That's where if I'm not working, that's where I'd rather be. Yes.
There you go. Thank you,
Sit-
Internet.
Yes.
Do you have any from the action pack here?
The action pack here? Yeah, give me a sec.
Yes. How many what?
Contest?
Conquests.
Conquests?
So I think the question is a very polite way of talking about your dating life, which seems like an impolite question.
That's a rather personal question. No, needless to say, getting recognized as Wesley was a wonderful thing. Yes. Yes. I think I said those 3 words probably more in those first few years than I ever have. Yes.
Wow. So JJ's looking for a couple of others, and then everybody is just yelling. I hear. I see somebody standing and yelling from. Yes. Let's take this question.
Yes.
This is just all.
I
asking
opened
for,
the floodgates.
Yeah.
What? Sarah, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Let's all wish Sarah happy
very
birthday.
polite. Very
right.
polite question. JJ, hurry up and get us a couple of good ones
I
here.
got one from right here in Austin, the action pack. Do you have any good Christopher Guest stories to share? Which is crazy because I just tonight realized that was Christopher Guest from
Yes.
A Mighty Wind and everything. I was like, I've seen this movie so many times. I love all Christopher Guest movies. I was like, who's that guy? Looks a lot like Jamie Lee Curtis's husband.
Chris Guest. It is Jamie Lee's husband. Chris Guest is, for those of you who don't know his work, and you should if you don't, is one of the funniest, right? Nigel Tufnell. Right? And the films he directed and he was in, I mean, he's just a marvelous comedian. And, he would crack us up on the set all the time. I'll never forget. Rob hired a caterer to be with us on location. And this is not an indictment of Indian food. I love Indian food, so don't tweet me saying...
Just a heads up.
You know...
Trigger
what's
warning.
your problem with Indian food? I love Indian food. I spent time in India. I love Indian food. Okay, here's the story. With that disclaimer, here's the story. We had an Indian caterer who supplied us with, on the first day of shooting, with something called a japuti. And a japuti, if you Wikipedia it, is a pastry from Bangladesh or something, and it has meat in it, and it's fairly tasty, a bit spicy, a bit too spicy for me, but it's tasty, right? And we're thinking on the set, oh, this is cool. Rob got like a really international cuisine going here, we're gonna have really different fare, right? First day japuti, second day japutis, third day japuti, and now Rob, people are getting tummy aches on the set and stuff, I think that was the reason for Andre's fart, And Rob is not happy with this, and I'll never forget Chris Guest goes, in a perfect Indian accent, he goes, right after we yelled cut and the AD goes, that's lunch, Chris Guest goes, fancy a fruity chaputi? I mean, that's how quick he is. He's so quick and so deadpan. Needless to say, the Indian caterer was sent packing. God bless him. I know. Yeah, so Chris, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
So there's so many stories like that that we really could go forever, but we're very close to out of time. Before we say goodnight,
Okay.
Could you just tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write this after all of this time? And do you have the writing bug? Will there be another book? Do we get to what?
That would depend on how well this book does, I suppose. You know. Yeah. But no, thank you so much for this incredible evening.
Thank you
both. Thank you, and thank you, really.
There we go. Before we go, can we get one more inconceivable? Can we do that? One more inconceivable? Inconceivable. Are you saying inconceivable head slap on 3?
Okay, here we go. Inconceivable head slap. Ready? Inconceivable! Wonderful.
Such a great night.
God bless you all. God bless you all for coming. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Cary. Thank you, Long Center, Karen, all of you. There should be books and pint glasses as you exit. Stop by that table. Make sure you get yours. We'll see you at the Alamo Drafthouse.